Hello everyone, Happy New Year. This is Barb Reed, the Wexford Stamper, and I'm so excited to get our new year off. What I'm sharing with you today are items from the new mini catalog, and this is going to be going actually today. Today is the first day of the new mini. So I am so excited. You can now get to see the inside pages of this fabulous catalog. And don't forget, it's also Celebration. And for you, those of you that don't know what Celebration is, for Celebration, for every $50 of product out of this catalog or the annual catalog, you can choose some goodies, one item out of this small brochure. And it is amazing. As always, it's fabulous. Just to let you know, they are doing Celebration a little different this year. Hi, Anne. That we are just going to be doing 2 months of Celebration now, and then 2 months at the end of the mini catalog. So it's a little different setup. So the Celebration brochure here is only good January and February. And then a new brochure will come out for May and June for the end of Celebration. So just to give you that idea, it's a new idea that Stampin' Up! Came up with this year. And I think part of it was because they're having so much trouble getting product shipped from China and things like that, that they're kind of holding off and hoping that some of those things will be in by the end of Celebration. So I'm excited to get started again this new year. And we will be using some of the products from here. And I'm going to be also using some from the annual catalog as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. Today, since it is a new year, we're going to be working on these super cute little mini calendars. And I will let you know how I got all these products. Some products are not Stampin' Up!, like the calendar and the magnets and things. But I will let you know where you can find those. All right, so this calendar is made on a piece of chipboard. And it's approximately, let's see, 5.5 by 4 inches, but you can really choose any size to make your calendar. And I will show you what rules I use to cover the chipboard. Now, I did put some magnets on the back of my calendar. So this calendar can go on the refrigerator if I like. But you also can make it with these little mini easels, these wooden easels. You can get these at the craft store, and then you can stand it up on your desktop or whatever. So it's good for either way you would like. And let me give you an idea of what I did and how I found the calendar. Now, there's 2 ways to get the calendar. Some of my friends went and bought them on Amazon. You can get mini calendars and get them right to you, all bound together that you can tear off and everything. That's one way you can do it. Look on Amazon. Hi, Rise. Hi, Deb. But another way, which I found to work for me, was Etsy. And Etsy is a great website if you're looking for unique gifts. So I always thought, you know, there's all these artists that make different kinds of crafts and everything, but there is a whole area of printables and that kind of thing that you can also get on Etsy. So I bought this PDF from a gal on Etsy, okay? And it cost me, I think, $3.99. So I was able to immediately, as soon as I paid for it, I was able to download the PDF. Okay, now that I have the PDF, I can make as many copies as I want. So it really ends up being a better value than buying these. The friend that bought a few of these said it cost her more to have them shipped to her house than it costs for the little mini calendars. So I would recommend trying Etsy, and I can put in the description what Etsy store I used, but they had all different kinds of fonts and all different kinds of calendars, so you can kind of look through it and see which one you like the best. But now I have the PDF on my computer and I can make as many as I like, so I like that way. Then what you do is you can see these lines here, and that kind of shows you where to cut on all the different directions for each of them, and it ends up looking like this. So you just have a stack of calendar sheets, and I'll show you exactly how I get that onto my calendar here in just a few minutes. All right, but I wanted to make sure you're clear on how I got my calendar. You can always ask questions if you have some. All right, now let's talk about the paper that I used for this. Now I covered the back and the front with the paper, and the paper I used is called Flower and Field, and it is a celebration item. So I actually got this paper for free. I know, crazy, huh? But here it is right here with a $50 order. You can get a pack of 12 by 12 paper, 12 sheets of it. For a $50 order, you get that for free. It's gorgeous paper. I just love it, and I love that most of them have the background of black. It just really makes the beautiful little flowers pop. Like here's another one. Isn't that so pretty? Now here, this one has a different color. That's really pretty as well, but most of them are the black background, but just so pretty. Now the one we're using today is the little daisies on the black background. I gotta get my enunciation better here today. I'm gotta get back into the swing of these Facebook Lives. All right, so let me grab here my materials, and we'll start working first on the piece of, here we go. Now these I bought as well, but you can this is chipboard, but you can always find chipboard in the craft store. You can always save thick cardboard you might have from other projects or from other products. So you can do all those kind of things as well. But I got this chipboard from Angie at Chicken Scratch. Okay, and this size was, I told you before, 4 by 5 1/4. Is that a quarter? Yeah, 4 by 5 1/4. But you can really make it any size you want. And I thought about it, you could even make it this way as well. So it really doesn't matter, however you want to use and whatever kind of paper or cardstock or cardboard you would like to use. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on our project. Okay, so for the project, I measured the length and width of my chipboard here, and then I added 1.5 inches to both. Okay, so if my chipboard piece is 4 by 5 1/2, then I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2 by 7. Okay, so this is the piece that's going to go on the back side. All right, so you're always going to make it 1.5 inches wider and taller than your piece of chipboard. Okay, so here's my chipboard, and that's going to go right in here, and we're going to go ahead and cover the board with the paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's put a little bit of glue on the back side of our chipboard. I'm going to use my Tombow. Okay. And I'm going to just lay it here right in the center of the paper. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. I had a great Christmas, but I was ready to get back into the swing of things too. So I'm looking forward to a fabulous 2021, that's for sure. All right, so I just have that, and I took a little bit of time, and I made sure it was centered. Now I'm just going to bend these over on each side. Okay, so I'm going to take the paper, and bend it over so it's tight against each of the edges. Same thing up here. Pushing down and here. You want to just make sure that it's up tight against the edge on all the edges. Okay, so now what you're going to notice is you have little squares on each of your corners. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut in on this edge, on that fold there, and the same thing here. Okay, so we're going to take these two sides and we're going to go ahead and glue those down. Okay, so I like glue. You can also use tear and tape, not tear and tape. Yes, tear and tape. Gosh, I'm trying to remember all my Stampin' lingo. It's gone. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and put some on here, and I'm just going to fold that over here and just hold it down. And I like to go over it with my bone folder just to keep it nice and flat. But this Tombow does the trick. All right, let's do the same thing on this side. Oops, I almost put it on there. Okay, so there we go. Remember, we made our paper 1.5 inches larger on the width and the length. So that's going to give us an extra 3/4 inch on both sides so that we can get a nice adhesion here so that thing's not going to flap open. Okay, so there's our first step. We have our both sides finished. Okay, now for the corner here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to look at your end here. Okay, and I'm going to cut these off here like that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut from, let's see, make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to cut from this corner here. Let me cut up to there. Okay. And then after you cut those two and make the flap, what you're going to do instead of cutting the whole thing off is you're going to fold it up like this. Okay. And then this one is going to be cut like that. And I did this one wrong. I shouldn't have made those two cuts there. We don't need those, but we can still make this work. I'll do it differently at the top, so show you. Didn't really need those two cuts. You just really needed the angle cut on the end, and I'll show you why. This is going to go up, and then it's going to give you a nice look here on the corner with that little angle cut. So I'm going to fold all this up. Okay, and then you can see how your angle cut makes it look so much nicer along the edge there. Okay, now let's do that here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from this corner here up to this spot here. So I'm really just kind of cutting off the edge, and it doesn't have to be perfect in any way because we're going to be covering that with our other piece of Designer Series paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our Tombow on here, and we'll have finished already covering the back side of your piece of chipboard. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there we go. All right, all finished with that. See, this is going to be the back of the chipboard. You can either put your magnets on the back here, or that can stand on the a desk or a table with an easel. All right, let's get started on the next part. Now, before we stick this down, I want to let you know that this piece is a 1/4 inch smaller than the size of the I'm sorry, it's a 1/2 inch smaller than the size of the chipboard. Okay, so the chipboard was 4 by 5.5. So this is 3.5 by 5. Okay, and that's going to fit here. So it's going to give it a nice clean look, and you can still see the little corners, and it's nice to have those nice neat little ends. All right, so now before we put it on there, we're going to grab our little calendar, and we're going to put it right on the piece of Designer Series paper that is cut to place on the other side of the chipboard. Okay, so we're going to line it up so that there's just a little bit of space at the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my stapler, and I'm going to staple in 2 places. I'm sorry if I'm making a giant earthquake. Okay, and that's going to hold my calendar right onto that paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere the paper now down to this side of the chipboard. Okay, and we also already have the calendar adhered. Rather than trying to put the staple through the entire chipboard, I find that this is strong enough to hold the papers on there. So there we go. Now we have our second piece of Designer Series paper placed on. So there you go. So there is the chipboard totally covered. So it's really simple to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up our embellishing on the front. Now let's talk a little bit about these pieces here. What I used there was, I'll show you the stamp sets first. Okay, I used the Sentiment from Dragonfly Garden, and this is a new one in the new mini catalog, and there's a fabulous dragonfly punch that goes with it. We're going to use this sentiment here. May good things grow all year long. Okay, so that'll be one we're using. And then we're going to go back into my annual catalog and use Daisy Lane. We're going to use the small daisy. I guess it's a medium daisy. And then we're going to use the medium daisy punch that goes with it. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our pieces here. Okay, now the label pieces I used here are from the Happy Hippo. You guys know how much I love this Happy Hippo set. Okay, it has a cute little hippo and a cute little unicorn on it, but it has fabulous labels. And I've been using these a lot. I used a lot of them through Christmas. It's just a great set to have on hand. This is in the regular annual catalog, the big thick one. So I used the second and the third largest here, and they're right here. And this is in Balmy Blue, and this is in Whisper White. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our Memento ink. We're going to go ahead and do our sentiment first. Okay, this is May Good Things Grow All Year Long, and it was my attempt here to get it right in the center as best I could. Okay, let's try that one. We're going to have to go with it. Okay, let's go ahead and take that one. And now we're going to go ahead and adhere that to the Balmy Blue label. And these are just 2 that are nested together. There's 4 of them in all, but it's great. It's a little kind of a, let's see, what is this? It's a octagon shape with the stitching, which is always so pretty. All right, so there we have that part. All right, next we're going to go ahead and make 2 daisies. And the way we do that, we're going to grab our Balmy Blue ink, And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp 4 daisies. Okay. 1, 2. Oh boy, you can really tell I just re-inked. Look how pretty that is. 3, 4. Okay, so there's 4 of the little daisies. Now let me give you a hint here. You always want to make sure, excuse me, that your leaves are coming straight down, just like that. Kind of perpendicular to the bottom, because that makes it much easier to come up and do your punching. So you want to make sure you're looking at your bottom part of your punch, and you can line up all your petals, and when you got them right in the right spot, you just squeeze. Okay, and then we're going to do that 3 more times. Love this. This is a great one to have. There's also a large daisy punch, and with spring coming up as soon as it can, please, this would be a great one to have in your collection for making flowers. I just kind of looked at the daisy on the paper that I got from the Celebration catalog brochure and thought, I can just grab my little daisy punch, my medium daisy punch, and I can make this work. All right, so now let's go ahead and bring in our project here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this right to the center of the top panel there. So let me grab my Tombow. And we'll put that right in the center. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put our little, daisies together. All we need here is a little dot of glue here and here. And then we will go ahead and put the second one. We're going to stack them right on top of each other. And remember, we need it to be alternating with the petals so it makes a fuller daisy. So stack and then have it alternating, and the Tombow gives you a little bit of time to get it right where you need it. That's what I love about the Tombow. Gives you some time. So there's some nice full daisies there. Okay, the last thing I have is I have my little 1/2-inch circle punch, and I have a tiny little piece of Mango Melody over here. This is the best punch for making my middles for all of my daisies. I'm using the Mango Melody paper. And I'm going to put just a dot of the glue on there. And put our centers on. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and get our daisies on our calendar. All right, now I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of each of the daisies. Let me get some new ones. There we go. So now what you want to do is don't want it to cover up your sentiment. So you want to put it kind of high up, just so it doesn't cover up your sentiment there. So I'm going to stick it right there because we can see all the words. Boy, it is a nice bright blue daisy there. You can tell my poor little balmy blue ink pad was very dry. Okay, and then here's the other one down here. So you're going to do kind of on a diagonal. Okay, last thing we're going to do, I cut out 2 little stems Okay, so you can search your stash and kind of find any of your dies that cut stems. This one specifically is from the Poppy Moments dies, right here, this one. But there's also a leaf punch. There's all kinds of different ones. I'm sure you have something in your stash that you'd be able to use. All right, now what I did is, this was way too long, so I'm just gonna cut it off after the third leaf, 1, 2, 3. Okay, same thing here, top 3 only. Might be able to use those other ones for something else. Then I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the back of my leaves. Tiny bit. Okay, don't like to glue it down because then it can give it a little bit of dimension. I'm just gonna kind of slide it under, right here, under my daisy, making sure that I'm not covering up any of my words or getting close to the calendar, and then just push down. And there we go. Okay, and then our last one is going to be up on the top of this other daisy here. Now you can look through your stash, see what kind of paper you have, and then you can kind of just design your panel to match your paper. I just grabbed this one because I loved the daisies, and then I just kind of looked through what I had and found all my daisy stamps and punches and made it super easy. So there you have it. There is the calendar. Isn't that so cute? I love it. Now let me show you one last thing. I do have those tiny little magnets that I use for many of my 3D projects. There are these tiny little ones here, and they're probably 3 millimeters thick. So they're very, very thin. Now you could probably use those on here, but I also did some searching on Amazon, which is my new favorite place, and you guys know that. And I found these cute little magnetic discs, okay? And they have a little bit of adhesive on the back. Let me open this up and I'll show you how I did this. Okay, I'll take out 4 of those. But these are a little bigger, and then they already have the adhesive on the back, which makes it a lot nicer. Now if I can get them out of here, I'd be doing something here. There we go. Woo, they're all tucked together. There we go. There's 4 of those. I'm trying to see the, yeah, here, I'll show you where I found them. They are, oh, what's that say? Basic Gray is the name of the stamp company. Basic Gray magnetic discs. So they're a little bigger, a little thicker, and then they also have the adhesive on the back, which is really, really great. And I will find the link to Amazon for all of these magnets as well. All right, so I'm going to turn it over here. And because it has, what I like about it is it has the adhesive on the back. So I just have to pull the paper off and just stick it right onto the corner. So it's really up to you if you want to do it magnetic, or you can also do it with the easels. The easels are very inexpensive, maybe 50 cents at the craft store if you want to do a little wooden easel. You could also paint the easel if you like to match your calendar. So there's all kinds of different options you could use with this. So let me try and get these last ones off here. But let me talk to you a little bit about my Facebook Lives. I've decided in the new year that I'm only going to be doing one Facebook Live during the week. And that is going to actually be on a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. And I'm not doing the it only once a week because I don't want to make as many projects. I really would like to do once a week a little longer and show you multiple projects. So even though I'm only going once a week, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be making as many projects. So starting next week, I'm going to be doing my Facebook Lives Tuesday nights at 7. Okay, I will show you 2 or more projects, And hopefully with having only the one night a week, I can get a little more prepared and have directions and things to send you and get it up on my blog a little faster. I was having a hard time keeping up with it the other way. So I will try to have all the projects each night related to each other, maybe all related to one stamp set or a suite, but I'm just felt like one night a week is going to work better for me. So watch for me at 7 o'clock next Tuesday evening. I'm going to go for a while, see how Tuesday evening goes, and we will reassess after this year. But I've decided to move to the evenings because I think there's more people available to that at that time. So thanks so much for watching. I hope everyone has a wonderful start to their new year. And we're hoping with everything going on that hopefully we're going to get these vaccines and get our life back to a little bit more normal. So thanks again for watching. And if you make a calendar, don't forget to post it on my VIP page. I'd love to see how it turned out. All right, take care. Bye-bye.